Okay, Chris.
Yes.
This is The Binding of Isaac.
All right. I've heard a lot about this game for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Isaac's mother replied. She locked Isaac
There's
in his
a
room
few things about
away
this game
from
that I feel like
the
you'll
world.
enjoy just this
One
take on.
Okay.
Isaac's mom heard the
I'm gonna
voice
skip
of
the story
God
for now.
calling to her.
All right.
Except apparently I can't. There we go. So I'll just play as Isaac. You can. There's other characters, but I don't really know much about them. So basically, he shoots his tears.
Okay.
Yes. He's in the basement, escaping from his mom, who's trying to sacrifice him to God.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It's very... And that's a poop on the floor,
Why?
because it's gross. And you can destroy the poop.
Okay. So it's just like real life.
Yeah. And as you can see in the upper left-hand corner, it's kind of got the...
Oh, it's like Zelda.
Yep. It's like a Zelda dungeon.
Nice.
And it's basically the entire game is just a randomly generated Zelda dungeon. And then you'll see as I keep playing here, lots and lots of weird ass shit happens.
So yeah, one of the things. So on and off, this game was like gonna be for 3DS. Then it wasn't. Then it was. Then it wasn't.
Okay.
So that's what I was kind of waiting on.
Yeah.
But it still really hasn't panned out.
Right.
So that's why I kind of haven't played it yet.
Yeah. Well, and they're making another one now. It's a Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which the graphics look a lot more. Seems like there's kind of like lighting effects and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's an interesting game. I've played a few hours of it, and as soon as I played it, I was like, I think Chris would like this game.
Yeah.
But I don't think the PC version has a gamepad support, which is annoying. Because unless you're really used to like WASD controls, it's really awkward to control it that way.
Yeah.
And it's pretty difficult. I mean, I'm kind of fucking up here just in general, but like there's a stat for how many times you've gotten to like the end of the game, and I've never even gotten fucking close.
Okay, so this might be a silly question.
Yeah.
But so your mother's trying to sacrifice you to God.
Yes.
So why is this weird shit happening to you? Like, is this not? Are you not in the real? Is this not really real world based, or?
I don't actually know. It has a story, and you start to like find things out as you play it more, but I haven't really gotten far enough to actually figure out what is actually going on. Part of me thinks that he's like his mom's not actually doing any of this to him, and he's just psychotic.
Okay.
And this is just his like vision of the world because he's like really fucked up.
Okay.
Or it's his mom's totally psychotic. Oh, I died. Dear diary, today I died. I was killed by this thing in the basement. And leave all I owned to my cat Guppy. Okay.
Nice.
But yeah, so I mean, there's obviously some really strange like story stuff at play here, but I haven't gotten far enough to know exactly what that stuff is.
Okay.
But I'm eager to get to a playthrough where you can see him get he gets all kinds of weird power-ups. He'll get more health, and his tears will shoot different things, and like all kinds of weird creepy shit will happen to him. Obviously you can get bombs like Zelda style.
Nice.
And he gets coins, but they're like pennies.
Yeah.
So it's like everything costs like a nickel or like, and it just makes you feel so fucking like oh, what the fuck? It's like hardly any money. Oh, you bastards. Now, have you played Super Meat Boy?
I haven't, because I don't know if I get on board with this super hard shit.
Right.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it, like,
Right.
existing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel I just don't have that urge to, like, relive the glory days when games were fucking impossible.
Right. If I wanted that, I'd go play Defender, kind of.
Right.
Right.
Like this might be a controversial statement, especially among like hardcore gamers or whatever, but I kind of feel like games definitely are too easy in a lot of ways.
Sure.
But I kind of feel like games not being super, super hard just for the sake of being hard is like an improvement. Like games have evolved past that. Right. In a way. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Yes. Well, like, fuck me. I'm doing terrible.
Like games have gotten more. I mean, I'm not saying Super Meat Boy is cheap, but I just feel like games don't need to be that anymore because they're not about like you feeding quarters or anything like that.
Well, right.
Or they're not about like, well, you know, games don't have batteries, so you can't save them. So the only way to make this hour-long game last a long time is to make it hard as balls.
Right. And I think that's a lot of what it comes down to is this idea that, like, the technology has improved such that there's not a need for games to just be, really difficult because you can only fit an hour's worth of content on a cartridge or whatever.
I want to spend 5 hours getting 5 hours into a game, not 5 hours trying to beat a half-hour game.
Right.
Replaying it over and over.
Right. Which, while I totally agree with that, it seems like there is a trend where it's kind of going back towards those like small but really difficult games, you know, like the Super Meat Boys or the I don't know what other games are really like. Well, even a game like this where it's random dungeon and random pickups and stuff. See, there's all this shit in this room. I can't get any of it because I have a bomb somewhere. There we go. There we go. But like this whole revolution of the roguelike, right?
Yeah.
Where everything it's like this is basically a 5-minute game because you die within, 5 minutes to 20 minutes, whatever it is. But it's different every time.
Right.
So I guess that makes it interesting, which I like this game. I'm not shitting on it at all, but it's weird because the technology is in such a place where games could be so huge if they wanted to be.
Right, like he could have made The Binding of Isaac and he could have just designed, 15 dungeons.
Right. But right, yeah.
And I guess I never really thought about that, the whole trend towards roguelikes and how a lot of that is probably exactly what you said. It's like that's a way to maximize the assets instead of.
Oh, here we go. Mom's lipstick.
What the?
So now he's got lipstick on his mouth.
What does that do besides you're wearing it?
He's made his tears go farther.
Oh.
Now watch this. He'll go down to the next level and he'll have a nightmare.
Oh, jeez.
It's so weird. Okay, so anyway, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, I think I definitely prefer that. I'd rather just have. I'd rather have that repeating be like a randomized dungeon.
Right.
Than it's taking me an hour to pass this one stage because it's that hard.
Right.
Because you still feel like you're accomplishing something when you die in a roguelike.
Right. Well, and what I guess is what's kind of interesting about the idea of the roguelike is that if you have a bad run, like you can kind of somewhat like just blame the game. Like, right. Oh, it just lined up all this really nasty random shit for me. So I'll play it again because maybe next time I'll get better items or like the rooms won't be so hard or whatever.
Right.
Whereas, yeah, if you just have 15 dungeons, then if you get to dungeon 14 and it's impossible, it's just like, well, that's it. Fuck this game.
Yeah.
Okay, now he's on fire. That's really great.
Now, have you ever played any of the Dead Rising games?
Yeah, I played a little bit of Dead Rising 1.
Okay, now,
Dead Rising 3 just came to Steam. I'm thinking about buying it.
Well, yeah, I played the first two.
Okay.
I like them a lot. One thing I like about them actually is they're kind of like weird old school like kind of save system thing. You kind of know what it is.
Yeah.
You do?
What?
Well,
No, what do you mean?
Well, I mean like you. Okay, so it's kind of, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but like say like I play like an hour of the game.
Okay.
And then, you know, you accumulate statistics, you get moves, you get more powerful.
Yeah.
And then you die, you're given the choice to reload the last checkpoint and you lose everything, you start like from where you were at the checkpoint, or you can start the entire game over, but you keep all your shit.
Interesting.
Like, so you start the game from the beginning, but you still have like the moves that you learned or whatever.
So it's kind of like a weird new game plus almost.
I sort of, yeah. It's kind of like every time you play, you're like a new game plus. So it,
yeah.
And of course, the game is set up to you sort of have to do that in the beginning.
Right, right.
So I guess you're kind of grinding it in a weird way.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is, especially, is that I so often like take long ass breaks from games.
Yeah.
And like in that game, it doesn't matter. Like I could play that game
right
for like a half an hour and then come back to it a year later.
Right.
And I have to start over anyways because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Right.
But I still have like.
But
the
you're
shit
still
that I learned
badass.
Last year.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
I really like that about it.
I've heard those games are pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're
like
really,
you can make like ridiculous weapons and shit.
Yeah, and like it's kind of not as revolutionary now, but like when the 360 first came out, it was like a big deal that there was like 5,000.
Oh
zombies on
yeah,
screen
yeah,
at
yeah.
once.
Isn't the first one you're like running through a mall?
Yeah, the first one's like straight like Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
The whole thing's like in a mall, and then the second one you're kind of in like they call it Fortune City, but it's Vegas basically.
Yeah. Really want to beat this guy and get to the next level, but I can't. If I get hit one more time, I'm fucking dead. Yeah, fuck you. Okay, so what do we get now? The belt.
Uh-oh.
So now he's look at him now. He's like really starting to look kind of shitty. And it looks like he's got the belt tied around him like some kind of weird diaper.
Well, and it almost looked like he had welts on him, like he was like abused with
right.
the belt. Jesus.
Yeah, this game is real weird. And I know that's kind of what like Edmund McMillan is kind of known for. Is this weird like art style. And I guess I don't know a lot about Super Meat Boy except he's just like a boy with no skin.
Right.
Which is kind of sick, but stop spitting all these flies at me, you wieners.
So does he still do shit on his own, or is he just like Team Meat now?
No, I think he does. Like, I think this game is on his own. I don't think
wasn't
this is
before. I thought this was before Super Meat Boy.
Oh, was it? I thought this was after.
Maybe not.
Oh my god, fuck those guys. I need to get like, I want to get some interesting shit so you can see that just the weird crazy shit he gets, because it gets way weirder than the stuff that I got. Okay, I don't know what that does. I don't know what the tarot cards do at all.
I don't think anybody knows what tarot cards do.
What's her name does?
You got the teacup. That means you're gonna have lots of babies or whatever.
I actually bought a tarot card deck once just because I think the pictures are cool.
Yeah.
I have, like, obviously I don't give a shit about tarot, but I think the imagery is really interesting.
Tarot read.
Jesus Christ.
Is that what happens when you...
Oh, God.
I have a tarot reading.
Yep.
See?
Yep. That's where you put your boobs out.
Yeah.
And they're all fake and disgusting, and you're a really nasty crack whore.
Suck your cock for $100. Okay, but what's Philip Seymour Hoffman's name in that movie?
Wait, which movie?
Big Lebowski.
Oh.
Remember, she's like, suck your cock for $500 or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
And she's like, he can't watch unless he pays $50 or whatever the fuck it was.
I forgot she was in that.
Yeah.
That's so weird to me.
Yeah.
What's her name in that movie? Like Kitty something or?
It might be Kitty Lebowski. I don't know.
I haven't seen that movie in a really long time. And it's one of those like I keep meaning to go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
But you know how that always goes. It's like, oh, I'll watch this or not.
I was watching Hudsucker Proxy the other day.
Yeah.
That's definitely like one of the ones that people don't like giving up credit to.
Right.
Kind of overlook it when they're talking about Coen Brothers movies.
Right. All right, let's see what kind of weird nightmare he's going to have now.
He's being farted on.
Yes. Yes, he is. Jesus Christ. I need a weapon upgrade. Like, since it's starting to look more and more like you won't get to see it, like, he shoots, like, blood tears.
Yeah.
And, like, or he'll shoot, like, he'll get, like, a speed increase. And he'll shoot tears, like, 200 times faster.
Nice.
Okay, oh god. So that was just some bloody meat with a bone sticking out of it. Because, why not? Oh, so by the way, after, this was a while ago now, but after we did the Rogue Legacy playthrough,
yeah,
I got a wild hair up my ass, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna finally beat this fucking game.
Yeah.
So apparently I was only like 45 minutes away from being able to beat it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was actually really not that difficult. Like, once you've fucking grinded it out, I think I was like level 150 or something.
Yeah.
So I had like upgraded all kinds of shit. And it's that game, I didn't really realize it until I went back and beat it, how much like the classes are just completely imbalanced. Like some classes are just way fucking better. So I have like what the fuck am I gonna do with 2 cents? Okay, thanks for nothing. Like some classes are just garbage, or rather they're kind of garbage if you go for a particular build. Like if you put all every time you level up, you put it all in like more crit or more strength instead of magic, then all the magic ones that you can get are just shit. So once I realized that, and I just always picked like the paladin, then I just started tearing through everything. I'd get like 20,000 gold before I died.
Yeah.
I would like to see them make a sequel to that game though, because I think there's a lot more they could do with that concept. If that had been a 2014 game, that would be in the running for like maybe like my game of the year.
Really?
I really like that game, yeah.
It's not a 2014 game?
No, it was out in 2013. I believe. I can go back and look, but I'm pretty sure it was 2013.
I might just be thinking of, I think that's when I think it just this summer finally came to PlayStation.
Right. That's right. By the way,
I'm kind of holding off on that game until I eventually get a Vita one of these days.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be a good Vita game.
Yeah, absolutely.
What were you going to say?
Put a bee in your bonnet here. So, I think we should do some shit for Game of the Year this year. Okay. Since our blog was so like new last year.
Right.
I think we should do like whether we do it on YouTube or we do it on our blog. I think we should like, I mean, I know we don't have tons of viewers and tons of readers, but just for our, just for fun for ourselves, we should come up with some interesting categories of like awards we can give out.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can do our own like game of the year and stuff like that too, but just like categories you probably won't see on like all the major websites,
Yeah.
Fucking weirdest game of the year, wire coat hanger. That's what he got,
boy.
And it's in his fucking head.
Jesus.
I also think what would be funny.
So it's just in his head now.
Yes, and he's all gray looking, although I think he might have been gray looking before, but yeah. I think we should each pick our own game of the year, but I also think it would be hilarious if like we did I got to pick your game of the year and you got to pick mine.
Yeah.
Because I already know what your game of the year is.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's that?
Mario Kart 8. And I'm sure you probably already know what mine is.
This year?
Yeah.
Is it something that came out already?
Yeah.
drawing a blank.
Fucking Barbie Racing Ride.
Oh, hell
No.
yeah.
I don't know. It's probably not, honestly, but like I talk about Dark Souls so much, I figured you'd be like, oh, it's got to be Dark Souls 2.
I guess I didn't even remember if that came out this year.
Yeah, it was like March, I think. But yeah, I'm so you're gonna like call me crazy, but I'm so tempted to say like Broforce.
Dude, whatever, man.
I loved that. Man, I love that game.
Dude, like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I wish there was more there, and I realize it's an early access, so like it's kind of hard to say like game of the year, but that game just like totally hit all the right buttons for me.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else. Like, it's been such a weird year in the sense that like a lot of the stuff that's come out that was like game of the year bait kind of didn't really hit the mark.
Yeah.
Like even with Destiny coming out this week, like I've been hearing a lot of stuff that like Destiny's kind of like a cool game, but like maybe not the end all be all holy shit my life is complete game that people thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, like the people like I kind of have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder about like reviews and like people like saying like, oh, I think their game's like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
But like the people who have been saying that in like the forums and stuff that I've looked at,
yeah,
are giving it like 7, 8 out of 10.
Right.
Which is fine, but yeah, not as like, no, that's not what the fucking game is called. Destiny, for fuck's sake. Like,
right.
They definitely had higher ambitions than like, yeah, this game was kind of a fun game to play.
Right. Right. And like, I mean, especially because unless I'm mistaken, I had heard that it's like the most expensive video game ever made. It's like $200+ million.
Yeah, which
oh, there's his mom's
me
underpants.
Because it's.
He's not wearing. Yeah.
Any like MMO type game is going to be expensive, so it has that aspect. Plus, it's also like a AAA first-person shooter.
Right.
Speaking of which, I heard that Elder Scrolls Online got hit with some layoffs. That's a fucking shocker.
God, fuck that game.
What? I mean, here's what I don't understand. Okay.
I hope you're gonna say what I think you're gonna say. Go for it.
What, like, did somebody along like the playing stage not just realize maybe let's not do this? Like,
right.
I don't know. I realize that you, as a company, you can't just sit back and be like if you were like a rock band in the 60s, you can't just be like, we're not gonna beat the Beatles, so let's just not even be a band.
Right.
But considering that everybody else, like gamers and the press and everybody was like, yeah, maybe this is not really gonna hit.
Right.
Do you think someone at like ZeniMax should have been like, maybe we just cut our losses on this project and realize, like, I don't know.
Because that game was so expensive too.
Yeah, I don't understand like why you would pour that much money until WoW is like officially like for sure declining, and it's like definitely like, you know what I mean, kind of done or whatever.
Right.
Like, why even bother?
Well,
I don't understand.
And not just that, but like,
it's kind of like anybody who pours tons of money into like being like a competitive console first-person shooter. Well, then Call of Duty is going to come out, nobody's going to play your game.
Right.
So why even bother?
Right. Well, the other thing too is like, there are certain properties that I think people would be interested in playing an MMO for. In fact, I've heard people say that they should make a Fallout MMO. But the thing was, it seemed like nobody was asking for an Elder Scrolls MMO.
No.
What would be interesting about a Fallout MMO, I mean, same company, well, it's not really the same company, but like, is that Fallout would be a different world. But Elder Scrolls is fantasy, so it has even more of that, oh, there you go, mom's heels. It has even more of that same, like, the World of Warcraft look to it. I mean, different, but we're still talking about fantasy. At least Fallout would have been like post-apocalyptic type shit.
I
but
guess
like,
that's true, so they're doing the same shit even.
Right. Nobody was saying like, oh my god, I need an Elder Scrolls MMO. In fact, when I first heard about Elder Scrolls Online, and you know me, like I like MMOs. I want to play MMOs. I was like, oh my god, why are you doing this? Just make the Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want this. And I'm an MMO player and an Elder Scrolls player.
Right.
And I don't want this product. Like,
right. And I feel like the only ones that even have a fighting chance are the ones that kind of go a little bit smaller scale, go free to play,
right?
Do like a DC Universe Online type thing,
right?
You have enough of a budget that you only need to be successful for maybe like a year or two,
right?
And then you cut your losses and you're done,
right?
Like obviously, however much money Elder Scrolls cost to make, like it needed to be WoW for 10 years, for it to like, be profitable. Exactly.
And honestly, like, fuck, WoW completely. I don't know that there's ever gonna be another WoW.
No, and that's what I said we were debating about if MMOs are relevant.
Right.
Like, there's not. Like it just hit just right. It was
right.
Yeah. There's not, just like, not to go off on a whole tangent, but people talk about like why the Wii U is a flop or whatever, but like no, it doesn't do the Wii's numbers. I don't think anything's ever gonna do the Wii's numbers again.
Right.
Like not, some shit just, now you're Magneto.
Apparently.
Like I don't know, some shit just hits a certain way, and
right.
You shouldn't chase that.
Right. Well, and that's why, yeah, like, and honestly, there was this period of time, like maybe 2-3 years ago, that I was like jonesing for like the WoW killer, because I still liked WoW, but I was looking for something new to sink my teeth into.
Right.
And so like all these new MMO games would come out. Rift came out, the Old Republic came out, WildStar just came out recently, and I tried all of them, and I'm like trying to get into them and trying to like be like, okay, like fuck WoW, this is the new hotness or whatever. And it's just like, A, they're not nearly as good or polished, and B, it's like I'm just starting to feel like what you're saying is true. Like there just isn't gonna be another WoW. Like there'll be something else, but it won't be WoW. It'll be something different. Like the way there's probably never gonna be another Minecraft.
Right.
Although I have to say, what really surprises me is, given the incredible success of Minecraft, why there aren't more games that are like following that trend. Like just throw you in a world that's like no story, no bullshit, just like.
Isn't that kind of what like stuff like No Man's Sky is kind of doing, just on a more like epic scale, obviously?
Yeah, but that's like the first game that's done that. And what's it been, like 5-6 years or more since Minecraft came out?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that new EverQuest game is kind of trying to sort of do that,
yeah.
Which should be interesting if it actually works. But I would think that like if you watch this little tiny developer turn into like this multi-billion-dollar company off of this one basically like digital Legos,
right?
Like, why isn't Microsoft, why isn't Sony or Valve or one of the Blizzard or another huge developer, Activision, going, holy fuck, like why don't we have one of these?
Right.
It's just weird to me that in all the time that Minecraft has been out, that there aren't like 42. I mean, there's Minecraft clones, but those are literal clones, like the kind of shit you see on iPhone. Right. But there hasn't been like this big budget, like, yeah, we're gonna take the idea of Minecraft and put some real polish on it.
Right.
I don't know, just weird. So, what do you think of Binding of Isaac?
It's cool.
Real weird, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wonder, games like this. All right, so we had the whole thing before with the coat hanger in his head.
Right.
Like,
first time I saw that, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
It's so hard to gauge because, like, your knee-jerk reaction is, oh, he's like making fun of abortions.
Right.
But like, maybe he's not. Like, maybe you're not supposed to laugh at it. Like, just because the game is cartoony.
Right.
Maybe you're supposed to see it and kind of be like, oh, dude, that's like sad.
Right.
Like, it's just such a weird. It's hard to get a grip on what this game is trying to be.
Exactly.
Is it like dark humor, or is it just supposed to be dark?
Right. Like, yeah. Like, I kind of wanna sink my teeth into it a little bit enough just to beat it, so I can see if there's a story at the end where it explains like he was crazy or his mom. Like, so obviously something is going on. So it's just a question of whether he's a nut or his mom's a nut. Yeah, and then randomly you get to these rooms where it's like kind of like the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's such a strange game.
What the hell is that?
I have no idea. Oh, you give it.
Oh,
You give it health and it gives you back money. That's great. It's not exactly what I was looking for.
So what does that magnet do?
It pulls the items to you, which is kind of dumb. I mean,
in a game like this, it's not like a platformer where there's like a coin off on like a distant.
Right. By the time the items usually drop, everybody's dead. I can just run over and pick them up anyway. Unless maybe it pulls them through rocks or something.
You see, and that's another thing. So yeah, there's like the piles of poop. So
right.
You're like, oh, there's just poop in a game. But then like you start thinking about it, and like, well, if this is a kid that's locked in the basement, then he just has to take a shit everywhere.
Right.
So it's kind of like, well, that's kind of sad that there's like.
Right.
Although it does make little smiling faces after you blow them up.
Right. Do you notice that, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I like this game, but it's just so strange. Like the first few times I played it and I watched that intro and everything, I was like, what the fuck is this fucking thing? And it's always weird to me when like a game is weird like this and then the gameplay is just really good.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, well, that's definitely one thing I will give the quote-unquote indie scene props for.
Yeah.
Is because like 10 or 15 years ago when the game was weird, like it was always like, okay, this game plays shitty, it's not that fun.
Right.
But it's really quirky and like unique.
Right.
Now like you can have both.
Right.
And it's really neat.
Right.
Neat?
It's neato.
It's cool.
I'm still like, I'm really going back and forth as to whether or not I want to like play Fez, because I know it's a good game. I know it is, and I know that everything that I don't like about that game has nothing to do with that game and everything to do with Phil Fish.
Right.
But I just haven't been able to bring myself to do it yet.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it's like some essential game that like, it's not like a Mario or like whatever that like, well, if you're a gamer,
right,
you need to have played Fez in your life.
Right. Yeah. All right, so that's The Binding of Isaac.
It is.
I figured
Binding of Isaac Hayes.
This
I don't know.
Didn't he die?
Yes.
Okay.
But not till after he quit South Park.
Right.
Because they made fun of everything else, which was fine until
Right.
they made fun of Scientology.
Right. I feel the same way.
Which is a weird note to end this on, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Moment of silence for Isaac Hayes.
And to sum up, fuck Scientology.
Fuck you, Tom Cruise.